Hi there, my name is Professor Eros Hedoni, and today I'm here to talk to you about female pleasure and arousal. It is important to note that the term female refers to a person's biological sex, not their gender. Warning, the following video may contain explicit content. Sexual arousal refers to numerous physiological and psychological responses that occur in preparation for and during sexual activity. Sexual pleasure is defined as the satisfaction and release experienced as a subjective and physical sensation, primarily due to genital or erogenous stimulation. To start with, we are usually taught that boys have penises and girls have vaginas. Which brings us to problem number 1. If we look at an anatomical diagram, we can see the labia majora, the labia minora, the urethral opening, the pubic mound, the anus, the prepuce, also known as the clitoral hood, the glands of the clitoris, and this little spot here is the vagina, or the vaginal opening. The entire area is actually called the vulva. As you can see, the vagina is only one organ of the external female genital anatomy. The vagina is a muscular passageway that connects the vulva to the cervix. While the vagina can play a role in arousal and pleasure are not the main function. So what is responsible for female pleasure then? The clitoris. The clitoris is the only organ in the human body that exists exclusively for pleasure. However, the clitoris is often the most misunderstood organ. Although documented in 1561 by Gabriel Falloppia, the clitoris was not included in influential anatomical textbooks until 1901. But because at the time, clitoral arousal was portrayed in society by religion, political conservatives, and even psychologists as immoral, immature, and unnecessary, it was completely removed by 1948. It didn't even last 50 years. This created a massive gap in the scientific and medical knowledge, significantly impacting female pleasure. When the clitoris has been included in anatomical diagrams, it is usually depicted as a small, pea-sized button inside the clitoral hood, where the labia minora meets, below the pubic mound. Depicted like this, you basically need a magnifying glass to find it. It wasn't until the clitoris was dissected in 1998 by Helen O'Connell, an Australian urologist. It has since become widely recognised that the majority of the clitoris is internal, and the part that can be seen externally is just the tip of the iceberg. Or should I say, the clit of the iceberg. The clitoral body forms a wishbone shape, containing the erectile tissue of the corpora cavernosa and the crura. The clitoral bulbs are masses of erectile tissue, situated on either side of the vaginal and urethral openings. The only external part are the glands, situated at the top of the clitoral body. As you can see in this image by Vincenzo and Giulia Pupo, the clitoris on the left is highly comparable to the penis on the right. So let me just fix this. The statement should be, males have a penis and females have a clitoris. If we combine the external anatomy of the vulva and the internal anatomy of the clitoris, it looks a little something like this. While there is significant variance in length and width, research suggests that the clitoral body and crura together can be 10 centimeters or more in length and grow even larger when the female becomes aroused, also known as a clitoral erection. Evidence now shows that G-spot orgasms may actually be achieved from internal stimulation of the clitoris, or a combination of the clitoris, urethra, and vagina, rather than a magical button or spot inside the vagina. Helen O'Connell argued that the term should be changed to the clitoro-urethro-vaginal complex, or CUV. If a female becomes sexually aroused and does not attain sexual release, it can be uncomfortable or even painful, similar to blue balls. Although sexual activity can still be pleasurable and satisfying without reaching orgasm, there is scientific consensus that a significantly larger percentage of females do not usually orgasm during sexual activity, and an even larger percentage that do not orgasm from vaginal intercourse. From biological and anatomical textbooks to erotic media, also known as porn, the imagery that depicts male and female bodies typically paints this picture. The unaroused male and female, compared to the aroused male and female. Notice how you can clearly tell the difference when a male is aroused? Although these images aren't necessarily at fault, as a large portion of female arousal happens internally. The signs that are often given for female arousal are lubrication, female copulatory vocalization, and, well, that's about it. The problem here is that these things vary quite a lot between individuals and situations. Not all females produce the same amount of lubrication. Health, age, and hormone levels are all factors here, and not all females will vocalize their arousal as seen in porn. But the main problem is that when these signs are present, they usually occur in the later stages of the arousal process. According to Masters and Johnson's work in 1966, the stages of the arousal process are firstly desire, where the body becomes excited and arousal begins. In the second stage, arousal plateaus. While time varies a lot between females, it can last for several hours. And typically, it lasts significantly longer than it does for males, which is why foreplay is so important. This stage is pleasurable and extends until the brink of orgasm. Then the resolution, which is marked by a general sense of well-being, intimacy, and often fatigue. The majority of females are then able to start the process again, or may even be capable of a rapid return to the orgasm phase, and have multiple orgasms. Unlike males who have a refractory period where they will not be able to orgasm again for a certain period of time, which can be seen on Masters and Johnson's graph. Although some females may also need a recovery period due to sensitivity. And of course, some may not reach orgasm, in which case the resolution is slower and less intense. Female climax is primarily marked by intense clitoral contractions, while some females may expel various ejaculate fluids. This is a secondary result of the contractions. The actual signs of female arousal include an increase in heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. The nipples become erect, and the breast enlarges. The skin may flush in the chest, neck, or shoulders. Increased blood flow to the genitals creates swelling of the clitoris, labia minora, and vaginal walls. Vaginal walls lubricate, thicken, and eventually turn dark purple. The clitoris becomes highly sensitive and retracts under the clitoral hood. Muscles in the feet and other areas may spasm. Increased muscle tension eventually draws the cervix and uterus upward. This is called tenting. It is generally a good idea to wait until this point to penetrate. Hopefully, this inspires you to learn more about female arousal, because we've really only touched the clit of the iceberg.